Hi all, hope all is well. On today's video, we'll be travelling to Wallowville, Queensland in outback Australia. Now the reason we were in Wallowville, Queensland was to do a drone spray, an agricultural spray on the cane field that you can see in this footage here. So the cane field itself was absolutely enormous, quite a big block, and it was nestled in a bit of a valley, so it was a very interesting spot geologically. Now while operating, I started to notice quite a few geological specimens on the ground around me. This is fossiliferous limestone, so it's actually composed of the remains of long dead sea animals, and you can see there's quite a bit of Aragonite in there as well, which is actually a harder form of calcium carbonate. Now if you were to go back to when this calcium carbonate was first exposed to the weathering processes around us, you'd find that they were intact pieces of limestone or calcium carbonate, and then the calcite, the softer material, as you can see in this footage here, actually erodes away through weathering processes such as rain, for example. Once the calcite actually washes away from the rock, the Aragonite is exposed. So you can see the Aragonite in the previous shots. They show up as veins, and again it is just another form of calcium carbonate as well. So all of this limestone was once at the bottom of the Eromanga Sea, as you can see in this picture here. Now the ancient Eromanga Sea stretched from the northern tip of Australia all the way down to South Australia through New South Wales, and it also extended out to the Queensland coast right around where Brisbane is today, and obviously stretched up into parts of Wallowville as well, as you can see by the evidence in the ground here. Now the footage that you're looking at here is actually of the excavations, and there's been quite extensive excavations done in the area, so a lot of dams have been built in the area, and that's what's actually brought a lot of these samples to the surface. So as you can see here, a lot of Aragonite, a lot of calcite, all calcium carbonate. All of this material can actually be processed to create calcium oxide and therefore calcium hydroxide. It can actually be used to make concrete, and the manufacturing of concrete is one of the most important processes to modern civilization. Therefore, the ability to be able to identify sources of calcium carbonate should never be underestimated. It's massively important to modern civilization as it is today. Now, you may find yourself asking why I have such an unhealthy fascination with calcium carbonate. The reason for it is because this process, being able to identify calcium carbonate, how to process it into calcium oxide and calcium hydroxide, was completely forgotten for over 1,000 years. Now, there were some processes that remained, such as the ability to make mortar, so you could stick bricks together and make walls. That process was still known, but how to make actual cement, that was completely forgotten. And the way the Romans used to do it was with a material called pozzolana, or pozzolani, which was a volcanic material, such as this that you're seeing here, for example. This piece here is basically a lava bomb. So it's actually Scoria, they call it, and it was ejected out of the top of a volcano where it actually cooled upon impact. And you can see all the gas chambers in it, so it's full of hollows, and it is lightweight. It will sink in water. It's not like pumice. It will definitely sink. There's quite a few geodes in there as well. So it was really fascinating to find not only these massive sources of calcium carbonate laying around on the ground that had been dug up out of these dams, but it was also very interesting to find these sources of scoria laying around, which is really odd because if you go back 100 million to 140 million years ago, this place was an ancient sea, the Eromanga Sea. And then at some stage from that period onwards, a volcano must have punched through the floor of the seabed, the calcium carbonate that you can see here, and it ejected scoria into the area as well. So what we end up having was a complete mixed bag of geological specimens, from the scoria itself to the calcium carbonate that we've seen. There's also been some calcium carbonate that was showing signs of metamorphism, quite a bit of aragonite as well, which is basically just a harder form of the calcium carbonate. But there was also other minerals around on the ground as well that were very interesting, such as the magnetite that you can see in this footage here. So there's hematite and magnetite present in the area as well. This is literally hundreds of meters from each other, these specimens. And then there were other metamorphic pieces as well, such as this here. This piece was actually translucent. So I've cleaned it up and actually had a look through the light, and you can actually see through it. And then there was this piece as well, which is very metamorphic as well, and you can actually see some geodes in it. So it's an absolutely fascinating area that could have been easily overlooked had someone not taken the time just to kick around in the rocks, such as myself. Now, what I'd absolutely appreciate from you, the viewers, is if you're a geologist and you have any comments that you want to add to this video, feel free to add them in the comment section below, because I'd love to hear from an actual professional in regards to what I've actually stumbled upon here. Obviously, there's quite a lot of evidence of geological activity that's gone on in the area, and there's quite a few different geological specimens available to look at, and it's actually paints a bit of an enigma for the area. As far as I can figure it, like I say, there had to have been an ancient sea there, otherwise the calcium carbonate wouldn't be present, I'm assuming. The evidence of the scoria itself as well, which is volcanic in nature, certainly indicates that it came from a volcano nearby, purely because scoria, there is some evidence that it could be ejected from a volcano as far away as 30 kilometers. That's possible, but definitely a lot rarer than the fact that perhaps a volcano was very close by, and perhaps the volcano that produced the scoria, such as this in this video footage here, was ejected through the seafloor of the ocean, the ancient Eromanga, and was produced locally in the area. So it would have been absolutely fascinating to go back a million years when this area was geologically active with volcanoes, to see what this entire area would have looked like. It would have been absolutely fascinating to see the volcano itself erupting. I'm not sure whether you'd want to be close nearby it to actually see it, but from a safe distance, it would have been absolutely magnificent to see. Now, these are some of the mountain ranges that are nearby, and I'm guessing possibly that there may be the culprit for the scoria. But that's part of the enigma. If you enjoyed this video, or if you got any information value from it at all, please feel free to give it a thumbs up. I appreciate all the likes I can get. If you're a geologist, or if you're a viewer and you have any suggestions, perhaps about the enigma that you've seen in the video below, feel free to add it in the comment section. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye.